from Fran Rish Stadium in Richland. It's high school football on SWX tonight. Two 4A rivals from the Mid-Columbia Conference doing battle on the gridiron, and they'll also be taking on the Elements with the Richland Bombers hosting the Walla Walla Blue Devils. Good evening and thanks for joining us. My name is Brian Levitan alongside Rob Jesselson. Now, Rob, this is our first trip to the Rish here this season, and it'll be an interesting one with wind gusts expected to be 45 miles an hour, so that'll be something for both teams to contend with. And it'll also be an interesting matchup of strength versus strength.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about the strength of this Walla Walla team. That is their run game coming into this one. They average over 270 yards per game running the football. Now, on the other side of things, you got the Richland Bombers defense. They come in with number 2 defense in the MCC. They only give up an average of 77 yards in the rushing attack, so something's got to give tonight. It's going to be a great matchup.
Let's talk about the Blue Devils and that running attack. It actually starts at the quarterback position.
Mitch Lesmeister is the true definition of what it means to be a dual threat quarterback. Right now, he ranks number 2 in the Mid-Columbia Conference in rushing, approaching the 1,000-yard mark. He should get that tonight. He's number 1 in the conference in total offense. He is just a true playmaker.
Meanwhile, the Bombers have a more traditional passer in Paxton Stevens, and he's a special player.
He is so fun to watch when he drops back. It is with so much confidence. He has a cannon for an arm, great accuracy. He's got weapons all over the football field. He loves to share the wealth. Definitely there's a reason why he's number 1 in the MCC in passing yards.
It'll be Richland and Walla Walla taking on each other, as well as Mother Nature tonight. High school football coming up next on SWX. And we're just about ready to get things started here at Fran Rish Stadium. The Bombers will receive to start things out. And the opening kickoff sponsored by Holiday Inn Express out of Richland, Washington. And the opening kick is a high end-over-end kick, kicked away from the return man, Gavin Brasker, who has to let it roll into the end zone. And the Bombers will begin the first offensive series of the football game from their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, that football just rolled straight into the end zone. Good job there by the Bombers not to take any risks and just take the ball at the 20-yard line.
Offensive impact players for the Richland Bombers. Paxton Stevens, of course, at quarterback, our player to watch during the pregame. Ben Stanfield and Parker McCrary. The running backs by committee, and then Alex Chapman, the burner at wide receiver.
The running back, Ben Stanfield, is a top 5 runner in the MCC. He's got 427 yards so far coming into tonight's game.
Low snap on first down. Stevens able to handle it. Quick pass to the far side is recovered by the Blue Devils, and is it taken in the end zone? They're going to say he was stopped right at the 1-yard line. What a play there. So it looked like Chapman had caught the ball, but then he was stripped of it. Impact defensive players there for the Blue Devils. You've got Patrick Uczynski, Adam Boggs, and McGill Bauza, but really the biggest impact is Jamal Mangarero, who got that fumble recovery there, stripping Chapman and taking it down to the 1-yard line. Great opportunity for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, unbelievable. On the first play from scrimmage tonight, Walla Walla forces the fumble, and it almost looks like Mangarero threw it back to one of his teammates. As we take another look here, low snap. And the catch was made by Chapman. He just loses the football on his way down.
And the one who should get credit for that strip would be Isaiah Moss. On first down there for the Blue Devils as we come out of the timeout, nothing doing is it was Brennan Barbarick on the run, and he gets stuffed. So there's no gimmies here with this Bombers defense that they're contending with. They lose a couple yards despite having the ball on the half-yard line after the turnover. Lesmeister going to pitch it to Barbarick now, trying to get him out in space. And again, nothing doing. Good defense there. The Richland Bombers.
You know, if you're Walla Walla, of course, that's the way you want to start the football game, cause a turnover on the first play from scrimmage. When you're going up against one of the top teams in the state and the Richland Bombers, you got to try your hardest to punch it in here.
Offensive impact players for the Blue Devils, Mitch Lesmeister at quarterback, Brennan Barbarick, the running back, the two core offensive players, but also Carter Davis, dangerous tight end, receiver too. Lob pass, corner of the end zone. Is that caught? No, through the fingers of Davis, who we just mentioned is one of the impact players on offense. He's their leading receiver among the leaders in the Mid-Columbia Conference. They miss again, so that'll bring up 4th down and 4. So the Blue Devils had that great turnover fumble that was caused. Isaiah Moss should get credit for that. And then Mangarero taking it down to the 1. And it looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th and 4. Wow, big gamble. Les Meister going to try and run it. Got a little space. One guy to beat. He dives across for the touchdown. Weisenfels couldn't quite get there in time. Adam Weisenfels and Les Meister on 4th and 4. How about the Blue Devils coming to Fran Rish Stadium and going for it and turning that turnover, that fumble recovery, into 6 points just like that.
And of course, it goes without saying that if you are the Blue Devils playing the underdog role in tonight's game, that is exactly the way you want to start tonight's contest. You punch it in on 4th and 4. You just keep it with your star quarterback. He takes care of the rest. What a start to the game for the Blue Devils.
11 touchdown on the season for Mitch Lesmeister. Check that, his 12th touchdown of the season. Came in with 11. And the extra point is up and good from Briner Jensen.
And we take another look at this touchdown run by Les Meister. Looks like it was the read option. Decided to call his own number and just gets over the goal line on a crucial first drive of the game. A big 4th down there. And if you're Coach Hysaw, you got to be feeling pretty good about your team right now, Brian. Starting the game just a few minutes in, you're already up a touchdown.
Yeah, Coach Hysaw and the Blue Devils definitely came to play tonight against their 4A rivals in the Mid-Columbia Conference. They've had some great battles over the years. Both these teams have storied traditions with some terrific football players that have come through their programs. Eric Hysaw has done a nice job here, kind of the de facto head coach when he was initially hired, but he's come on in and grabbed the reins. He's known more around the area as one of the top track coaches in Eastern Washington, was a track star and a star football player at the University of Idaho, and he's done a fantastic job here later on in his career as the head coach of the Walla Walla Blue Devils football team.
Yeah, I was talking about his football career over at Idaho, and he made a lot of great friends down there. Scott Linehan, the offense coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, former Idaho Vandal as well. And he's got a lot of connections, Mr. Hysaw does, in the football world.
Well, the Bombers will try to answer after the unforced error there. Turnover deep in their own end. One they probably wish they could have back. A low bouncing kick fielded by one of the upbacks and taken out to the 40-yard line. Nice return, so they'll at least get some good field position to try to answer. Willie Harshaw on the return. They've got some sure-handed upbacks because they're not the only team to try that, the Blue Devils, those shorter kickoffs and punts because of the concern with the return ability of the Bombers return men. And the upbacks have done a nice job of fielding those balls cleanly and given the Bombers some great field position in previous games that SWX has covered. Paxton Stevens. Take 2. 1st and 10 from the 40. Play action. Quick pass to Chapman in space. Goes right back to the man who fumbled it. And this time, number 8 fights his way for the first down, picking up 11 yards. Got to love the confidence he's showing in Alex Chapman. They're great friends on the team. And he's saying, hey, man, I trust you. Let's go back to you and let's get you right back involved in this offense.
I was just going to say, I love the play call by Coach Neidhold. Go right back to the guy. He's your star receiver, leads the MCC in receiving yards, picks up a huge first down. Now he's got his confidence back.
Right at midfield, actually just across the 50-yard line into Blue Devil territory. Stevens rolling. Didn't like what he saw there and just threw it at the feet of his tight end as he saw the safety coming in to try and pick it off. It was intended for Jacob Stanfield there.
Smart play there. You know, there's not much. He was looking downfield, didn't see much, decided to throw it to the feet of Stanfield, the big tight end there, and why not? There's no need to force anything. It's early in the game.
Low snap, handoff, first running play of the game. It's Parker McCary, who gets 11 yards. Nice job of just finding a couple little cuts there to get free and pick up 11 yards. Good blocking. Allowed McCary to get a little bit of a push right away.
McCary is quietly having a fantastic season for the Richland Bombers, along with Ben Stanfield. Those two like to share the load in the backfield. Both guys have put up great numbers so far. McCary, 372 yards on the season.
Gary gets his number called again. Gets 5 yards on first down. So this Bombers offense is humming along. They really didn't get a chance to get going. They actually didn't get a chance to get going at all because that was the first play of the game for their offense, and it was a turnover when Alex Chapman fumbled the football that led to this first touchdown of the game from Walla Walla. But now that they've been able to get going, they look pretty good here against this Walla Walla defense. 2nd down and 6 from the 34. Play action. Over the middle. Caught. And this could be 6. It will be 6. Katie Kiarma. And that's actually Cody Kiarma.
What a beautiful play there by the Richland Bombers offense. Just a great drive all the way through after turning the ball over on the first play from scrimmage. Paxton Stevens throws a strike. And Cody Skiama does the rest.
It's Cody Yarma, actually. This is the first time that I've seen his name involved in the offense. So the senior wide receiver getting his number called and coming up with a big touchdown catch over the middle. I bet that's his first touchdown of the season. Love to see that for the seniors who earn their time. Adam Weissenfels connects on the extra point. But that is Cody Yarma with a big touchdown reception, 34 yards out. And the Bombers tie things up after the extra point at 7 apiece. And the band has a reason to toot their horn. Beautiful use of the play action.
You know, I really liked that drive put on by the Richland Bomber offense. You know, you're hit with a little bit of adversity to start the ball game, and you come back a second time around, and they didn't do anything too fancy, so to speak. Did a good job of running the ball, had a lot of high percentage throws as well. Put together a beautiful drive there, capped off by a nice pass and catch. And as a result, 7 on the board.
Doesn't seem like the win to this point is going to impact that style of passing for the Bombers. Incidentally, that is touchdown number 17 on the season for one Paxton Stevens. Against just 5 interceptions, came into tonight leading the Mid-Columbia Conference with a little over 1,400 yards passing.
And we talked about him in the pregame show. He is so fun to watch back there. He's more of a pocket passer. Not the same style of quarterback play that we've seen from Walla Walla's quarterback, Mitch Lesmeister. Stevens is a guy that'll just sit in the pocket, and if you don't put pressure on him, he'll do what we just saw him do to the Walla Walla defense, and that's just kind of pick him apart.
Kickoff by Weisenfels goes out to the 20, and the Blue Devils will get a nice return. Out to the 44-yard line goes Bryant Romero. Had a little seam there on the near sideline. Nice little blocking seam. And he took off and picked up an extra 20 yards, 25 yards.
Yeah, give credits to the Walla Walla kickoff return team. They made a beautiful seam down the left side of the football field for Romero. And Walla Walla starts this drive with great field position.
Well, the Blue Devils look like they're ready to return serve, so to speak. After the Bombers get there for a score. Barbarick there tries to spin up the middle and nothing doing. So it'll be interesting to see how well the Walla Walla offense, working with the full field essentially, can maneuver against this Richland defense that is pretty darn good. Anchored by Brigham Whitby, senior defensive lineman, Josh Mendoza, another force at defensive back, Ryan Piper, Adam Weissenfels, Alex Chapman as well. 14 interceptions by the Bombers secondary coming into tonight's contest through 7 games, which is pretty incredible. And that pass there from Les Meister is off the mark. That'll bring up 3rd down and 10 after Barbaric got nothing on 1st down and they miss on 2nd down, a 3rd down and long. And actually that's 14 interceptions, through 6 games, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, their secondary has 5 different guys who have multiple interceptions on the season. Alex Chapman leads them all. He leads the MCC with 4.
Play action. Les Meister better get rid of it. Getting chased by Jacob Stanfield. And he's able to find a wide receiver open on the far side for the 1st down on 3rd down and 10. What a big play by the quarterback. Isaiah Moss with the reception. Moss had the strip and caused the fumble. The very beginning of the game against Alex Chapman that eventually led to the Blue Devils' first score.
Beautiful play there by Les Meister, getting chased from behind, throws on the run, and throws a dart to his receiver.
Hand off to Barbaric. It almost looks like the Blue Devils are trying to keep the Bombers honest by running the ball up the middle like that. Not having much success with it.
Yeah, we talked with Coach Hysaw before the game. He said offensively they really just want to stay balanced. They want to come with the run. You have to, of course, establish the run, he said, but at times we got to hurt them through the air, and so far so good.
On 2nd and 10, little screen pass there intended for Barbaric, and that is incomplete, so it'll be another 3rd down and 10. Barbaric a little frustrated there. It looks like he, among the leaders in the Mid-Columbia Conference with 340 yards rushing coming into tonight, averaging 5.5 yards a carry. They were excited to get him back and running on all cylinders against Pasco. I think he'd been hurt a little bit earlier in the season.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago he missed out on the Southridge game, a game that Walla Walla lost 26-21. And it was Sam Ho who was the starting running back for the Blue Devils that night. Did a nice job filling in.
3rd down and 10. Les Meister's going to run it. Breaks a tackle. He'll get another first on 3rd down and 10. Just ran right through an arm tackle and picked up an additional 10 yards. It's got to make the defensive coaching staff at Richland a little frustrated, but that's part of what makes number 9 such a dangerous player. Look at this. Just ran right through the arms of Garrett Guffey. Probably still can't believe he didn't get him. Another run here on 1st down. New running back in the game. It's Sam Ho. Gets some positive yards.
And Ho looks towards the sideline.
Yeah, he looks a little bit hurt there as he's limping. Got 4 yards on that run. But that's a big loss if they don't have him to go to. Taking his place is going to be Edwin Romero, junior running back. And he is behind Les Meister, who operates out of the shotgun. Play action pass. Looking for his receiver in the slot, but it's incomplete to Bryant Romero. Now, how about this Blue Devils offense here? Going right at the teeth of the Bombers in this vaunted defense. One of the best in the Mid-Columbia. One of the best in Eastern Washington. Of course, with Chihuahua in the conference, you know, Rob, it's going to be a situation where maybe you aren't ranked number 1 in your conference, but you're still pretty darn good.
Yeah, the Bombers are very, very good. We saw them play a very good Kamaikan team and come out on top last week.
Les Meister's going to run it on 3rd down and not quite make it. Did he get to the 1st down marker, though? It's a little tough to see with where they have the chain gang. It's on our side of the field, tough angle.
Preliminary
They're going to say first down.
Looks like it's a first down.
It'll be 1st and goal now. They needed to get to the 4, and they did. It'll be 1st and goal from the 3. Another big run on 3rd down from Les Meister. He's converted 3 big 3rd downs on this drive alone. He'll take it himself after the play fake, and he'll find the end zone, diving across the goal line. Mitch Lesmeister carrying the Blue Devils on his shoulders down the field. They go 55 yards and answer the Bombers' first score of the game.
Yeah, nice play there by Lesmeister. The old read option. He read the defensive end who was getting blocked, Give credit to Carter Davis on the block there, gave an edge to his quarterback, and he was able to dive over the goal line and put Walla Walla back on top.
So just 5:27 into this football game, and Mitch Lesmeister already with 2 rushing touchdowns against this Bombers rushing defense, which is one of the best in Eastern Washington. The extra point is good from Breyer Jensen, and it's 14-7 Walla Walla about halfway through the first quarter. We're going to step aside here. It's been a very exciting, event-filled first half of the first quarter. You are watching high school football on SWX. Well, it's been an exciting start to this football game between Richland and Walla Walla. Wait, Rob, the Bombers had themselves a dogfight last week, a 21-20 overtime win against their arch rival, the Kamaikan Braves, and looks like tonight they're in for another fight against the Blue Devils, who are happy to play the David role to Richland's Goliath.
Yeah, and they came out and really set the tone on that first play from scrimmage, forcing the fumble and returning it and capitalizing with a big 7, and ever since then it's been so far so good.
Rasker fields it at the 4. Nice return out to the 28-yard line. Junior wide receiver and defensive back has been a nice new piece to this Bombers football team, both on offense and defense.
Yes, he has. He is just one of the many offensive weapons that the Bombers have. They have a ton of speed, especially at the skill positions.
First down, they'll give it to McCary. And he continues to run the ball with authority. Looks like he's close to the first down there. Pickup of 9 yards. And excuse me, that was Ben Stanfield on that particular carry.
Stanfield and McCary, those are the 2 guys that split time in the Bomber backfield. Both of them have big play potential anytime they have the ball in their hands.
On 2nd and 2, this time it is McCary. He'll turn it upfield. And he is stopped at the 45 of Walla Walla. Beautiful run as he goes 21 yards there for the first, and then some.
Well, I got to thank Mr. McCary for proving my point there. Talking about how this guy can break off a big play every time he's got the ball in his hands, and right there he gets a big run over 20 yards as the Bombers move the chains.
Couple things to like about McCary, his success running the football and the fact that he's only a junior, so he will be back next year, and I'm sure a big part of this offense. Number 2 ranked Richland, trying to tie things up to getting hit in the mouth a little bit by Walla Walla. McCary again, this time some tough yards up the middle. Gets just about 10 yards. Looks like he's just shy of the first by about a foot and a half.
You know, it's the 3rd time that the Bombers have had the football tonight. And once again, they are putting together another nice drive thanks to some great runs by their 2 running backs that they have back there. Be interesting to see if Stevens looks to drop back now.
Handoff again. This time they go to Stanfield. A little bit of a bigger back. Stands at 6'1" versus the 5'9" of McCary, and he gets some hard yards up the middle to move the sticks. Got about 5 there. And another first down for the Bombers, and with the wind expected to continue to pick up throughout the night, although it doesn't seem to be too out of control looking at the American flag here on one side of the field by the scoreboard. But with the wind picking up throughout the night, they've got to feel good, the Bombers do, with the way they're running the football against the Blue Devils.
Well, and they're heading straight into the wind right now.
Stevens thought about throwing. He's going to take it himself. Looks like that was a designed run with a delayed run. And he gets about 4 yards. Stevens is very deceptive. He's not necessarily a scrambler type like a Zach Borish with Kamaikan, but if he gets a little bit of space, he's tall and he's got a very fast stride, and he'll blow right by a defense if they're not paying attention. He had a lot of success running the football against Kamaikan late in the game when they weren't expecting it. He used his speed to his advantage, something they perhaps didn't game plan for. Handoff to Stanfield up the gut. Good job of hanging on to the football because a couple of hands were in there pretty tight trying to pry it loose.
Yeah, right now we see the Bombers doing a great job of running the football, especially in between the tackles. We've seen a lot of that this drive, and it brings up about a 3rd and 1 situation.
Yeah, it'll be 3rd down and 1 as he got 4 on that run. I think they probably go back to the run in this situation. But who knows? They'll throw it. And complete pass near side of the field for the first. Inside the 15. Caught by Ryan Piper, his first reception of the night.
Piper is the number 2 leading receiver for the Richland Bombers. He's got 7. Well, that was reception number 18 on the year. Came in with 168 yards as well.
Play clock down to 7. Stevens going to throw on first down to Weisenfels. Turns it upfield, going for the pylon. Touchdown, Bombers. 13-yard touchdown pass from Stevens to Weisenfels. Great job in space of getting the extra yardage after the catch as Weisenfels is able to go the distance. Second touchdown of the game for Paxton Stevens. And Adam Weisenfels, the hero in the win over Kamaikan with the blocked extra point in overtime, comes through with a touchdown tonight to tie things up at the 2:29 mark of the first quarter.
And a great job of running after the catch by Weisenfels.
And he will boot it through. So number 7 not only scores the touchdown, but he boots the extra point through to make it a tie game at 14 apiece. Walla Walla has come to play tonight. And credit the Bombers after getting punched in the mouth right away with the fumble that eventually led to the touchdown to start things off. Bombers have picked themselves off the canvas and are ready for a boxing match tonight.
Yeah, these two going shot for shot right now in the first quarter. And I think if you're a Walla Walla, you got to be pleased with the way this one has played out so far. You know, to be neck and neck with one of the top teams in the Class 4A ranks, and not just the MCC, but in the whole state of Washington. You're on the road in a tough environment to play. If you're Coach Heisel, like I said, you got to be proud of the way your team's playing right now.
Well, Walla Walla's been in some offensive juggernauts this season. They had a 41-40 loss in overtime to Kennewick. They beat Hanford 50-48. So they've had some games where they've just basically got into shootouts, so to speak. Of course, they don't like to throw the ball quite that much, but just where both teams are putting on an offensive display one way or the other and putting a lot of points on the board.
Well, it seems like just about every game they've played this season, they've been right in it. Last week, they had a nice lopsided victory in their favor against the Pasco Bulldogs. 2 weeks ago, they made a nice comeback in the second half. Came up just short in a loss to Southridge, but in every game so far this season.
The kickoff from Weisenfels, fair caught at the 34-yard line officially. Blue Devils, again, will have some solid field position. Both teams have been starting in the neighborhood of the 30-yard line, sometimes even the 40-yard line with their offensive possessions here. This will be the third offensive possession of the quarter for the Blue Devils, and they didn't start out with the football here because it was the Bombers who decided to receive to start things off. So it's just been a lot of back and forth and very efficient offensive play from both teams.
And if you're Walla Walla, I think you got to stick with what's been working. And so far, it's been the legs of Mitch Lesmeister. Number 9's been having a game so far.
4 seconds on the play clock. They just do get it off. Handoff. That's Lesmeister taking it himself, and he dives across the line of scrimmage and picks up a couple of yards. Boy, it looked like there was some confusion there with getting the play in, and it started to get down to the wire. They almost got penalized. Second and 8. Lesmeister again, as he works the read option to perfection there and gets a nice pickup there to make it 3rd and 4, it looks like, and 3rd and 3, is where they're going to spot it officially. Lesmeister has been money on 3rd down, though, Rob.
He has, and we've seen them go to that read option a lot, with Lesmeister reading that defensive end and handing the ball off if he's contained and keeping it himself if not.
Blue Devils 3 for 3 on 3rd down. Last drive, and on this one, it's picked off. And going the other way, Victor Strasser. Does he make it to the pylon? He knocked it over. But do they say he was down just before the goal line? They do. Marked him down at the 1. Boy, that was just that was a pop fly thrown by Lesmeister and just up for grabs. And we've seen some of those prayer balls answered for offensive teams this season, particularly last week. Zach Borish threw one up and got a big touchdown to keep the Braves in the game, but this was just asking for trouble deep in your own end to throw a football like this. Easy pick there for Strasser, who muscles the receiver for it and takes it to the house.
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of confusion by the Walla Walla offense. We saw Lesmeister roll to his right but throw to his left. Looked like he was going for running back Brennan Barbrick, who wasn't turned around looking for the pass. As a result, big turnover there by the Richland defense.
1st and goal from the 1. And Stevens, who faked the handoff to McCary, gets sacked in the backfield, and they lose 5 yards just like that. Big sack by Sam Ho, who came around the backside and didn't bite on the fake handoff to McCary. See the Bombers student section whiting out tonight. That's a big, it's always a big deal for seniors to do that on a particular football night, to just get all dressed up in white t-shirts. We see some folks in their country attire.
Saw a lot of pink last week.
That's right, with October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
And I believe we had a personal foul call on that last play that went against the Walla Walla defense.
Let's see. So, yeah, it looks like it would have been a personal foul call because it's marked now at the 3-yard line, and he was sacked back at the 6, so half the distance to the goal. 1 minute to go here in the quarter. Bombers trying to turn a Victor Strasser interception into a touchdown. Handoff. And McCary not getting much. Maybe got a yard. Clock continues to tick down with 30 seconds to go in the quarter.
And with the play clock off, it doesn't look like the Bombers have to run a play if they don't want to.
Yeah, I was just checking that out. I thought perhaps they caught a break there because I thought the play clock should have been going, but 10 seconds to go. Stevens rolling out. Got a man open, but he overshoots. Weissenfels incomplete. 4.5 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And we had a good look at that play from up here in the booth. Looked like Stevens just put a little too much on that pass, looking for Weissenfels.
Timing was just a little bit off. They're going to spot the ball here, and eventually the clock will start again. Looks like they'll try and get one more play off. Third and 2. Handoff. McCary fighting his way in. And with 1.4 seconds left, the Bombers take the lead for the first time tonight on the 2-yard touchdown run on 3rd and goal from the 2, courtesy of Parker McCary, who's done a fantastic job tonight, Rob, of running the football.
Absolutely. They went back to what's been working. Parker McCary, straight up the gut in between the tackles. Nice hole created there by his offensive line. And like you said, Richland takes their first lead of the ball game with just a second remaining in the first quarter.
So both teams here turning turnovers into touchdowns in the first quarter. Weissenfeld's extra point is good to make it a full 7-point difference between Richland and Walla Walla. Still 1.4 seconds to go in the quarter.
And Brian, of course, that drive was sprung by that big interception by Victor Strasser, who returned it all the way down to the 1-yard line. And slowly but surely, we can feel the momentum starting to turn in this game.
I think the big question for the Blue Devils is, can they continue to run the football the way they have been? Especially if they don't feel like they can throw it confidently. Incidentally, how did I miss this? But that interception by Strasser, the 15th interception of the season by the Bombers, as they intercepted a pass tonight. Think about that. 15 interceptions through 7 games.
Yeah, and this one didn't come through one of their defensive backs that they have.
And they've got several guys like that who have gotten some picks, and they just are very opportunistic, reminiscent of Central Valley last year. Bombers played them in the state playoffs last year, and that Central Valley team had come in with 25 interceptions on the season.
Wow.
And this Bombers team, very similar to that, with a lot of different players getting interceptions. The Bears last year had a lot of different guys, all but one player, and I believe it was actually a safety who didn't have an interception, so all the linemen had interceptions, believe it or not. Bombers very similar to that, though. Short kick, almost looks like an onside. It went the full 10 yards. There's a penalty as it went out of bounds, so it's a nice idea as Walla Walla wasn't anticipating it, and guess what? The play clock didn't start. So this is going to be the longest 1.4 seconds of our lives, it looks like. And we will have an offensive play from the Blue Devils before this quarter will end. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, the Bombers coming with that old pooch kick, trying to surprise the Walla Walla kickoff return team. They almost did. If that ball didn't go out of bounds, looked like Richland had a couple of guys there ready to pounce on it.
Mike Neidhold likes to be aggressive. He'll go for it on 4th down quite a bit. Here's the handoff to Barbarick, and he won't even make it back to the line of scrimmage. They lose a couple of yards, and the quarter now comes to an end. Boy, it has been an offensive explosion. 35 points total, with the Bombers taking the lead late after a Victor Strasser interception. There you see the SWX Prize Patrol waving out their hands and handing out the foam fingers. See the senior section there. Proud to show them off. Also passing out the footballs as well. And boy, it's a lot of fun here tonight at Fran Rish Stadium. Great atmosphere for football and a great game brewing between the Blue Devils and the Bombers on SWX. Well, the 15th interception of the season for this Bombers defense sets up the go-ahead touchdown. And it's 21-14 Richland as we begin the second quarter. Walla Walla has the football from their own 40-yard line, though. Bombers tried a little pitch kickoff and essentially an onside that they couldn't quite convert. And Blue Devils have great field position, and on 1st down and 10, Mitch Lesmeister goes to the air and completes the pass to Mason Knowles, and like to see him just return to passing the football around despite the ill-advised interception he threw to set up the Bombers' last score.
Take a look at that catch by Knowles. Unbelievable hands there.
Lesmeister was going to throw again over the middle. It looks like a little miscommunication there with his receiver, Bryant Romero. It's incomplete. It'll be 3rd down now.
And we see Sam Ho come back onto the football field as Walla Walla's in
Excuse me, it's fourth down. It's fourth down. And I'm looking up at the scoreboard here, and the scoreboard's just a little bit delayed tonight, so I should make sure I look at the chain gang. It is 4th down and 7. They'll have to throw it away or kick it off, excuse me. Kind of an off-center snap there, but handled well. And it'll take a little roll to the 30-yard line. Nice job of punting it away by Briar Jensen there, as that snap was a little high and off to the right.
Yeah, Jensen, the number 1 punter in the Mid-Columbia Conference coming into Week 7. Averages just under 40 yards per punt. As a result, the Richland Bombers will take over at their own 30-yard line.
Yeah, it's going to be... this is where you say, this is the pendulum shift here. Is this where the number 2 team in 4A starts to apply the vice-like grip on this game and take over after a little bit of a sloppy quarter by their standards? Stanfield up the middle! Across midfield. There's a flag on the play. Boy, he had a nice hole there, and he just exploded. And he looks like a north-south runner that's going to look for contact, and then you just don't realize how fast he is, and he'll just accelerate.
Yeah, we take another look. Stanfield, eyes upfield, finds a hole. Nice patience. And turns on the burners, but it looks like, Brian, this one's going to be coming back.
So instead of a first down in Walla Walla territory, it's going to be a first down and 15 from their own 25-yard line.
That call going against Brigham Whitby, called for the hold.
And one of their senior linemen, both on offense and defensive lines, and one of their leaders, and even the great ones make mistakes every once in a while. Stanfield again up the middle. Nice hard run there, just barreling into some white jerseys, and took him 2 or 3 yards to bring him down finally. He picks up 8 yards the old-fashioned way.
Man,
he earned it.
You just got done saying that. Looks like a runner who tries to avoid contact, but not there. Did a good job of just keeping his feet pumping. Picked up 9 on that first down.
9. They gave him forward progress. Great run by Stanfield. And the Bombers, and that's one thing I'd be concerned about if I was Coach Hysaw on the Blue Devils, is how well the Bombers are just running the football. It seems like at will they can get the yardage they need. Stanfield again. Right side. And nothing doing there. Nice open field tackle by Mason Knowles. Make sure Stanfield can't go anywhere. And it'll be 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, a few minutes ago we see Knowles make a nice catch. Now we see him with a nice open field tackle, which is not easy to do against Ben Stanfield.
Question is, on 3rd down here, can the Blue Devils get the stop? Walla Walla at times has been terrific offensively on 3rd downs converting. See how the Bombers do here.
We really haven't seen Richland in these 3rd and long situations too much in this first half. And when we have, it seems like they've been able to pick them up pretty easily.
Stevens going to throw. Off his back foot, fires and misses Mendoza. On the far side of the field, that'll be 4th down and 6. And at the 30-yard line, Bombers, who do like to go for it on 4th down, probably not going to go for it in this situation.
Yeah, Stevens with that back shoulder throw looking for Mendoza. And it looks like his receiver just wasn't able to get his feet set and come back to that football. As a result, Richland will punt the football for the first time tonight.
Mendoza with a high, booming, spiraling kick that bounces at the 15, and that is where the Bombers will down it.
Unbelievable kick there.
Yeah, that
was a
the ball's
boomer.
on the 34, so let's do the math. That's 35 plus 14. That is a 49-yard punt. Terrific punt by Josh Mendoza. That's not even his day job. He's usually a wide receiver and defensive back. I mean, he does the special teams and does it well, but that's his primary focus is being an offensive and defensive two-way player. And on special teams, he proves to be a triple threat with that punt.
Puts Walla Walla deep in their own zone.
First time tonight that either team has had bad field position when they're on offense. Handoff and nothing doing for Barbarick. Did the ball come loose? I saw Bombers defensive player dive in there, but it doesn't look like it.
Looks like they ruled him down.
Barbarick's had a little bit of a tough night, huh?
Yeah, he's going up against one of the top defenses in the Mid-Columbia Conference. We talked about it pregame how Richland does not give up many rushing yards.
In the middle of that defensive front is Dante Powell. By the way, putting some pressure on Lesmeister, who has to scramble. He's able to get some positive yards, but not much. Actually, he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. They mark him down at the 15. Thought he might have had some more yards there, some forward progress, but could have been much worse than that.
Yeah, and I'll bring up about a 3rd and 6 situation for Walla Walla.
3rd and 10, actually. It'll be 3rd down and 10 from the 15. But Lesmeister has been able to come through on 3rd down. A flag in the backfield as he is short on the pass attempt for Carter Davis.
Penalty flags thrown on the play.
Let's see what Richland decides to do if it's against Walla Walla. They'll decline it. I'm sure it's a hold, it looks like. I saw one of the members of the officiating crew signaling that to the head official.
We see the Richland bench there.
That'll be 4th down and 10. No, you are right. It is 4th down and 6. I'm sorry about that. It just on the scoreboard, I did the same mistake again. I looked and I saw a 3rd down and 10. So I didn't mean to correct you there. I apologize.
No worries, but how about this? The way this second quarter is playing out after seeing a ton of offense in the first, both teams.
Skip that punt right there. And he just gets the kickoff. It is fair caught. I don't know why he decided to receive it, and the Blue Devils recover. The Blue Devils recover as Brasker bobbled it, and the Blue Devils recover. Second turnover of the game for the Walla Walla Blue Devils. Miguel Beza comes through with it as Brasker tried to fair catch it with a couple of white shirts right around him, and he dropped it.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he was just a little too lackadaisical making that catch on the punt. As we take another look, had guys from Walla Walla all around him and just wasn't able to make the clean catch.
Be a little careful with wrapping up before plays like that, just because. First down and 10 from the 43 for Walla Walla. So they had bad field position, had to punt it away, and then they get the big turnover on special teams. And now they get it again at the 43. And turnovers have allowed the Blue Devils to stick around in this one. Lesmeister on the delayed run, up the middle, gets the first and a few more. It'll be Blue Devils football on the Richland side of the field at the 43-yard line. And Lesmeister starting to successfully run the football again. He's so dangerous. He doesn't run it necessarily all the time, Rob, but when he does, sometimes he can be very dangerous. Quick little out pass to Isaiah Moss. Gets about 5 yards on first down.
And just a few minutes ago, Brian, you were talking about how Richland was starting to get a grip on this game, really controlling it, and just like that, turnover can really turn things around here.
Lesmeister somehow escapes trouble there, but not for long, as he is tackled by Brigham Whitby and a host of other green and gold shirts. Now, Lesmeister is an interesting cat with the way he runs the football. He is second in rushing yards in the Mid-Columbia Conference with 950 yards, but sometimes only run it 5 times a game. He'll just rip one off, and he can be really dangerous.
And I'll tell you what, after this first half, he's got to be close to 1,000 on the season. Done a great job so far running the football.
Third down and 6, and he's going nowhere. Lesmeister sacked in the backfield. Kyle Kirby comes around the backside on the corner blitz, and Lesmeister had no idea he was there. Big stop by the Bombers. And now it's going to be 4th and 10 from the 43. Question is, will Walla Walla punt it away, or with the ball at the 43 of Richland, do they say, heck, why not go for it? Looks like they are going to try and punt it away with Briar Jensen coming on. So the Bombers defense able to give Gavin Brasker a reprieve. Sharp punt this time. Brasker is going to let it bounce. Decides not to return it. And the ball is down at the Richland 18-yard line, where the Bombers will take over after we come back here. It's been an exciting football game. 21-14. Richland leads it here at Fran Rish. You're watching high school football on SWX. 6:06 to go before the end of the half. We had 35 points scored in the first quarter. And right now, neither team has been able to put points on the board here in the second. Bombers will begin this offensive series from their own 18-yard line, and Stevens will look to throw on first down over the middle. Caught by Mendoza. Room to run. Gets the first. Still moving. Pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line. So a big pass play there of 20 yards. 25 yards.
Yeah, nice play there by the Bomber offense. Paxton Stevens did a nice job of picking up Mendoza, who's cutting through the middle there and got some nice blocking, was able to get to the outside and picked up 25 on first down.
Four receivers for Stevens. Going to throw again and overshoots Mendoza. I've noticed this. It looks like, he's got such a good arm and he's trying to get the ball out quick, but he's overthrown a little bit, thrown a little bit too hard for certain passes. Looks like a couple of those shorter passes. I don't know if you've kind of noticed it. He just missed his target because throwing a little too hard.
Yeah, it's just one of those timing things, and you can give credit to the Walla Walla front seven for that. They're doing a good job of keeping Stevens unbalanced back there, and as a result, might force him to throw a ball a little bit harder than he'd like to.
After the incompletion, 2nd and 10. Wide open in the flat. Weisenfels led beautifully by Stevens and fights through 2 tackles and goes all the way down to the 35 of Walla Walla. And little Adam Weisenfels showing how scrappy he can be as he gets some hard-fought yards after the catch. 5'9", 160 pounds, the junior. Has a lot of fight in that dog.
Just one of those many weapons that Paxton Stevens has on the offense. Weisenfeld's making guys miss every which way, and a huge gain right there for the Bomber offense.
3 broken tackles on that reception by Weisenfels. 1st and 10 from the 37. McCary with his first run of this particular offensive drive, first run of this drive period by McCary or Stanfield. And he gets a few yards. It'll be 2nd and long. Tackle made by Walla Walla's starting running back, Brennan Barbarick. And there is Paxton Stevens. Big number, 17, 6'4", 190 pounds. 2nd year starting as the Bombers quarterback. And boy, he came on last year and established himself right away as one of the best QBs in Eastern Washington. Over the middle, looking for Brasker, a little bit too high, and it sails off his hand. There is a flag, though. That could be pass interference.
Yeah, a late flag comes in at the end of the play. Looks like it's going to go against the Walla Walla defense, and it'll give the Bombers another first down.
Big first down for the Bombers, and have a chance to make this a 2-possession game here. Well, Richland, I was just going to say this, Richland clearly wants to make sure that they can come through tonight with the big game they have next week, and they don't want to make the mistake of looking past Chiawana. Perhaps that might have a little bit to do with the slow start tonight. against Walla Walla. I know that Coach Neidholt always tries to take it 1 week at a time, but it's tough to do with teenagers. 1st and 10 from the 18 after the pass interference. Stevens will throw. Finds Brasker over the middle. Taking it to the near side. Right at the pylon, but pushed out just before at the 1.
That was a fantastic job done there by Paxton Stevens. Had all day to throw, was able to set his feet and make a beautiful pass to Brasker, who was stood up just at the goal line. But once again, 1st and goal for the Bomber offense.
1st and goal. Bombers had it at their own 18 at the 6:06 mark. Have a chance to punch it in here. They will throw it. Had a man wide open in the back corner of the end zone. Off the hands of Yarma. Cody Yarma already has 1 touchdown in this game.
Just a little too much on that throw from Stevens. Had his man wide open in the end zone and just not able to come down with it.
2nd down and 1 here, 4:15 to go. Stevens has picked apart the Blue Devils on this particular drive. They've gone 81 yards. Make it 82. They've gone the distance for the touchdown. McCary with the first rushing touchdown of the night for the Bombers. Makes it 28-14. On the 1-yard scamper. And it looks like Richland starting to assert itself.
Yeah, nice play there by the Richland offense. Quick give to McCary. They fake the fade, and number 21 gallops into the end zone, and he makes this a 2-possession game in favor of the Bombers.
They got 6 points there, not 7. I said 28-14. Looks like they had a botched snap there. Bombers will try for the 2-point conversion, and they get it as the pass from Ryan Kriskovich is complete to Ryan Piper. Excuse me, that was Braden Powell. I believe that was 90 who caught that. Did we get a good look at who caught that ball? It was 90. Braden Powell caught it, one of the tight ends. And that'll make it 29-14. Not sure if that was designed. I was looking down at my chart for just about a nanosecond, which in this game has not been a good idea. And it looked like it might have been a botched exchange between the snapper and the holder. And Kriskovich decided to roll out and try and find somebody for 2 points.
Yeah, I was going to say, either way, nice job of execution there on the Richland special teams squad. So we see some future Bombers catching the game tonight.
Looks like Blue Devils there. Talking a little strategy, but they don't look unnerved at all. They look like they're ready to get back out on the field and do something. Mitch Lesmeister talking with one of his assistant coaches, game planning a little bit. 4:12 to go before the half, and Walla Walla here surrendered a couple of quick touchdowns, and one late in the first quarter, and then this one here in the second quarter. A drive that took, my math is right, 1 minute and 54 seconds for the Bombers to go 82 yards and punch it in.
Yeah, after the offense stalled the 2 previous drives, seemed like they just went back to their bread and butter, and that was running the football. They did a good job of it, got nice runs from both Stanfield and McCary.
But I think Stevens on that particular drive showed why he is one of the best quarterbacks in the state. Another short kick there by Weissenfels, and it's fielded cleanly by the Blue Devils. They'll have it at the 33-yard line. 4:11 to go. Plenty of time for Walla Walla to regain some momentum and get back in this football game. Go in the locker room with some momentum.
Yeah, this is a very important drive right now for this Walla Walla team. They find themselves down by 15 points. There's just 4 minutes left in the half. You got to try to put some points on the board going into the break, and to start the third quarter, they'll get the ball back as well. Play action. Lesmeister finds Davis.
But good coverage there by Alex Chapman. And the Bombers not fooled. Davis can't get any yards after that reception. And it's just a short gain of 2 yards. Clock stops at 4:04 left. With Davis going out of bounds. Lesmeister feeling some heat from Whitby. Dumps it off to Barbarick, who stumbles. Gets a few extra yards. What could have been a negative play turns into about a 3 or 4 yard gain. Perhaps if Barbarick doesn't lose his footing there on the grass field here at Rish Stadium, he can turn that into a first down.
Well, and a nice job there by the Richland Bomber defense. When Barbarick caught that football, there were not too many guys in green around him, and they just flew to the ball and were able to make something out of nothing.
Rish, one of the few grass stadiums that we will see here on SWX, as Lesmeister rolls to the far side on 3rd and 6, and it's incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down, and the Blue Devils will have to punt it away. But Rish, one of the few grass stadiums that we will see here on SWX, and perhaps on that particular drive with Barbarick stumbling, it plays to the advantage of the home team, which is the idea.
Absolutely. They now get the ball back with a whole lot of time left on the clock.
Yeah, with the way the Bombers have been running the football, Rob, and the way they look passing the football here, even though it's supposed to be windy tonight, on that last drive, plenty of time. Took them only 1 minute and 54 seconds to go 82 yards last time. They'll probably have better field position here. Hunt by Jensen is a low liner. That is fielded by Weissenfels, who was running backward. Nice job. Escapes one tackle. Boy, he has been tough to tackle for the Blue Devils. Turns it upfield. Spins across the 50. Come on, inside the 40. Adam Weissenfels is growing up before our eyes, man. This junior is just making some incredible plays and igniting the Bombers on special teams and on offense with some great plays.
Yeah, well, we saw what he can do last week, coming up huge. Getting that PAT block to seal the victory against Kamayakin. And
had a couple of interceptions in that game, too.
Yes, had a great game, but it looks like this one will come
There was
back.
a flag, huh? Boy, that flag was hard to see in the grass. I missed it. I was looking for it. So it's going to come back a little bit. Perhaps that's part of the reason why he was able to spring free. Still beautiful here. Check out that spin move.
He just
pressed the B button right there.
so tough to bring down. We've seen it a few times tonight where he's just breaking tackles. If you're Walla Walla and you see number 7 with the football, you need multiple guys to bring him down.
1st and 10. Stevens going to roll and fire. But it looks like the receiver on the far side of the field, Piper, stepped out before he could turn it upfield. Had a lot of room to move, too.
Yeah, it looks like his left foot slipped after he made that catch, and he was already on the sideline there. May have slipped out of bounds, and we talked about the grass field. And mid-October here, it gets tougher and tougher each week to have good footing. Either way, nice pass and catch there.
Play clock down to 7. Play clock down to 4. They just get it off. Stevens, quick pass. Far side of the field to Piper again. This time he slips, a little bit frustrated as he couldn't turn it upfield.
Yeah, we see him slip for the second play in a row, and we got to remember that the Hanford Falcons play their home football games here, and see the middle of the field there. It's getting pretty choppy as far as the footing goes.
Just 3 yards on that reception. Stevens going to throw again. Great protection. Looking far side for Mendoza, who wanted a flag, tried a one-hand catch that one as he was blanketed by Isaiah Moss. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 7 now with 2:32 to go in the half. Now to think here at the 40 of Walla Walla, Coach Neidhold will be going for it. There you see Josh Jelinek, the offensive coordinator for the Bombers, sending in the play. He's done a fantastic job with this offensive unit. And up in the booth, he's got some help with quarterbacks coach, some guy named Tom Moore. 3rd and 7, Stevens rolls, Long bomb near side, Alex Chapman. And it's caught for the touchdown. What a play. Stevens to Chapman. 40-yard bomb. And now they're talking back at the 40. Was there a flag?
Well, we knew this was coming at some point tonight. It was just a matter of when. Beautiful toss by Stevens to Chapman. Right on the money.
It looks like it's coming back, though.
It does.
Well, that's a shame. That was... So what was a touchdown is now 3rd and 15. Excuse me, 3rd and 12 from the 45.
And looks like they called an ineligible man downfield on Josh Mendoza.
That one's got to be tough.
Who must have been lined up incorrectly because he's typically a receiver.
I thought they might have said Piper. I thought I heard 20, but if it was Mendoza, it was Mendoza. It doesn't matter. It's just it's an unfortunate penalty that I'm sure.
You're right, Piper. Excuse me.
Bombers a little disappointed there, I'm sure. They're going to pass it to Stanfield out of the backfield on 3rd and 12. Stanfield has a nice job of getting most of those 12 yards that they need for the first on 3rd down. If they didn't get it,
he got them all.
He got them all. He did get across. Yeah, he just made it across there as the. Yeah, that'll be enough to move the sticks.
At least from our vantage angle, it looks like it. Looks like they might bring the sticks out and measure.
And it's tough to see because the Walla Walla sideline is right there, so they screen us from seeing where they have that marker down. It looks like they'll be just a wee bit short.
Ooh, it's close.
That is awfully close.
Maybe an inch or two short.
Say about 3 or 4 inches there. So it'll be 4th down. My money's on Coach Neidhold going for it here, just knowing the way he likes to go for it when he's in the other team's side of the field. And with the way his defense is. So they'll move the ball to the left hash. And that is where the Bombers will take a shot on 4th down. 4th and inches from the 34 of Walla Walla. 2:10 to go here in the quarter. Plenty of time for the Bombers to add to their lead here, assuming they can get the first on this play. Big test for the Blue Devils on defense as they show blitz. Stack the box. Handoff. Stanfield will get the first as he goes outside easily. Takes it to the 26 of Walla Walla. And also runs out of bounds to stop the clock at the 2-minute mark. Bombers can relax a little bit. I believe they have all their timeouts. They do, all 3 timeouts. So plenty of time. And plenty of timeouts to work with. Stevens will roll far side. Looks like a little miscommunication there between him and Weisenfels, or the other receiver in the area there, Mendoza. Because if he tried to thread the needle to Mendoza there, that could have been intercepted.
Yeah, it looks like he expected Mendoza to start drifting back to his outside, and he went to the inside. Little miscommunication there. Brings up 2nd down with just under 2 to play here in the first half.
Stevens, quick screen pass to Weisenfels. Gets a block, still going downfield. Is he going to go all the way? Yes, he will! Touchdown Bombers! Adam Weisenfels has been a giant thorn in the side of this Blue Devils defense. The little fella is impossible to tackle.
And like you said, just a junior. Gets the screen pass, has some nice blocking from Josh Mendoza, and can't be taken down until after he's crossed the goal line. Weisenfeld's 2nd receiving touchdown of the half.
Yeah, he has just been on fire. And the extra point from Weisenfels is good. So number 7 makes that a full 7 points. The Bombers will add to the scoreboard, and it's 36-14 Richland. The first quarter was a slugfest. 35 points being scored with the Bombers eventually jumping out to the 21-14 lead. But the second quarter has been all Richland.
Yeah, we've seen a good job of the Bomber defense really clamper down, and really they've done a great job of containing Mitch Lesmeister in the second half. We saw number 9 for Walla Walla, in the second quarter. We saw him in the first quarter get into the end zone a couple of times. One of those sprung by a big turnover on the first play from scrimmage. But ever since then, Brian, it's been all Bombers. The offense has really started to click. Adam Weisenfels, the junior, having himself another big night.
Yeah, he's really come on and filled that role of Griffey March last year, that slot receiver who's speedy and dangerous, and not necessarily a burner like an Alex Chapman, but Griffey March would always seem to find those little slots and holes in the defense, and then if he got one block, he'd be gone. And he was just deceptive, like quick football speed, so to speak. And a great receiver last year, led the Mid-Columbia Conference in receiving, and Adam Weisenfels has just stepped right into that same role fantastically. High end-over-end kick is fielded at the 6-yard line. And Sam Ho gets drilled just as he gets past the 20.
Nice tackle there by Josh Mendoza. Lowers a shoulder while making that tackle.
Looked like the Blue Devils needed a spark, and Sam Ho wanted to give it to him by taking it up strong up the middle, and Josh Mendoza just delivered some punishment. Oh, boy, that was a helmet-to-helmet hit. Kind of got away with it. It looked like another defender there tried to grab at that beautiful black mane of Sam Ho.
Which I believe is legal. At least in the NFL it is.
First down, Lesmeister will run it. Bounce it to the outside. Nice run, close to the first down marker. You rule him down at the 31. That might just be enough for the first. Going to be a yard short, actually.
If you're Walla Walla right now, you just got 1:20 remaining in the half. You got to play with some urgency here. You got to see if you can cut into this deficit.
They do have 3 timeouts to work with, but they are primarily a running football team, and runs like that in between the tackle and guard are not going to help them when it comes to managing the clock. And right away, Coach Hysaw calls for the timeout to stop the clock with 1:06 to go. Or they got the first down, so the clock stopped automatically. Now they reset it, and it starts to tick down again. This time, Barbaric up the middle, nothing doing. Got to think here they will call the timeout, unless they want to just go into the half with the 35-14 deficit. We'll see. They seem to be taking their time. 36-14 deficit, excuse me. Some lineup changes here, and it looks like they're going to live to fight another half because they're not really paying much attention to the clock. Lesmeister feeling some heat, tries to escape, and he will get to the line of scrimmage and go down, sacked by Brigham Whitby, or tackled for no gain, depending on where they mark him.
You know, I'm pretty surprised by the move from Coach Hysaw, not taking a shot here to end the half. He had 3 timeouts and over 1.5 minutes to play, and like you said, to live to die another day. And
the half will come to an end here with the clock ticking down to nothing. 36-14. The Richland Bombers with 15 second quarter points to jump out to the big lead here. They lead it by 3 scores. Coach Mike Neidhold has to be happy after some drama in the first quarter. Good battle here between 2 4A rivals in the Mid-Columbia. Halftime show come up next on SWX. See the Richland High School Marching Band getting ready to start their performance tonight at halftime. of this football game between the Bombers and the Walla Walla Blue Devils. It was a back-and-forth contest in the first quarter, with Walla Walla jumping out to the early lead, but then Richland stormed back to take a 36-14 halftime lead, thanks in part to a couple of second-quarter touchdowns and a big interception by Victor Strasser. And Rob, it's been exciting. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of scoring, and a lot of big plays.
It really has. From the first play of scrimmage, we saw Walla Walla come out right here and force the turnover. They recover the fumble there, Sam Ho, and then he sends it to one of his teammates, and then Walla Walla would, of course, capitalize with a touchdown right here from Mitch Lesmeister, his first, as Walla Walla took a lead to start the game.
Yeah, 7-0, but the Bombers answered right back. How about Cody Yarma scoring his first touchdown to tie things up here in Week 7? Big play by the senior receiver, I should say. Lesmeister, though, and the Blue Devils had no problem responding. Converted on third downs on their second offensive series, and Mitch Lesmeister finished it off with a rushing touchdown, but then the Bombers asserted themselves, establishing the running game very effectively.
Yeah, we saw Ben Stanfield and Parker McCary both have big runs here. We see Weisenfels get touchdown number 1 of the night, and this is really when the Bombers turned it on.
Yeah, McCary there with the first rushing touchdown of the night for the Bombers. How about Ben Stanfield up the middle? Big run there. Huge hole opened up for him by the offensive line. It looked like the Blue Devils might get back into it after Gavin Brasker dropped the fair catch. And the Blue Devils recovered, but boy, how about that Bomber D stepping up big time. Big stop there, big sack by Kyle Kirby, and then Parker McCary there with his second rushing touchdown of the game. And then it was Adam Weisenfels, who's becoming a star here the last couple of weeks. Had a couple interceptions and the blocked extra point against Kamaikan last week in the Richland win over the Braves, 21-20 in overtime. And then here in the first half, he has a couple of receiving touchdowns. Let's take a look at some of the legends of the game. It's a segment we like to do for our high school football Friday nights. And Blue Devils certainly have a guy that some people are familiar with.
Yeah, he goes by the name of Drew Bledsoe. Graduated back in 1989, is the Walla Walla all-time leading passer. Was the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year over as a Cougar for Washington State. Was the first pick in the 1993 NFL Draft by the Patriots, and of course went on to have a fantastic career in the NFL.
And he was actually the Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year because it was the Pac-10 back then.
Pac-10.
By the way, with Bledsoe, as we take a look at the Richland legends of the game, Bledsoe is also famous for being benched for 2 future Hall of Famers in Tom Brady and Tony Romo. That's his other claim to fame. Legend of the game for the Bombers, Greg Olson. Played for the Bombers, I think right around the time that Mike Neidhold was there in the 70s. And now he is the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive coordinator. And this one's pretty cool. Liz Heaston, first woman to score a point in a college football game. Only played soccer at Richland High School. I believe she was an all-conference soccer player, perhaps all-state too. Played soccer at Willamette University, and they liked her legs, so they hired her on to be a kicker on special teams. She kicked a couple of extra points in a game, and first player in college football history at any level to score a point.
Yeah, so, that's awesome.
Very cool, huh? I found that one on Wikipedia. Anyway, been a great football game here. Through the first half of play, it's 36-14. Richland on top of Walla Walla. See if there's any more excitement here in the second half. It's been a lot of offense and a lot of big plays. Much more to come at half here at Grand Rish Stadium. There is Coach Hysaw, the subject of our mic'd up segment at halftime. Nice job there. I thought that was pretty cool. Coach Hysaw, one of the great coaches here in the Mid-Columbia Conference. He himself had a great career. Was a track star at the University of Idaho. Conference champ in the 55-meter hurdles. Also a star quarterback, if I remember, at Idaho for 2 years. A 2-year starter. The Division I level. That's incredible. If anybody can do that. And came back to Walla Walla. Was a longtime track coach. And still does that. But they needed the right hire to be the head coach. And he stepped in. And after they had one hire not pan out, and he stepped in and did a fantastic job. Here you see some of the kiddos.
Love to see that school spirit. They're all bundled up. One of them's dressed up in their cheerleading garb without a sweater on. My parent bone is popping out there a little bit. There's Coach Neidhold and the Bombers. A little bit more relaxed here to start the second half with the way they finished off the first quarter and the way they played in the second quarter. Able to claim the lead. It was kind of touch and go there for a little bit with the Walla Walla Blue Devils jumping out to the 7-0 lead after the fumble recovery, which was taken down to the 1, and then they jumped back out to a 14-7 lead after the Bombers tied it up. And Rob, this thing was looking pretty interesting there for a while.
It really was. Walla Walla started this game the way they wanted to. They really couldn't have written it any better. They went up 7-0, then 14-7 at one point, but then that's kind of where the tables turned, and the Richland Bombers started playing their style of football and went on to score, and as a result, they start quarter number 3 with a 36-14 lead.
But the Blue Devils will start with the football as Adam Weissenfels will kick it off for the Bombers. He, of course, one of the stars of the first half with a couple of touchdown receptions. Student section with their hands up in the air there, getting on their feet, trying to encourage this 6-0 Bomber squad that comes into tonight ranked number 2 in 4A with a big game on the horizon next week against Chiawana at Edgar Brown. And the punt is fielded at the 10-yard line and taken out just across the 25 by Dalton Thompson. Excuse me, that was Bryant Romero there on the return. Let's see what Mitch Lesmeister and the Blue Devils can do here to answer this latest flurry from Richland here. Lesmeister with a couple of touchdown runs in the football game. He now has 13 rushing on the season. They will hand it off to Barbarick. Probably one of his better runs, Rob, up the middle.
Yeah, that was a fantastic, tough run in there by Barbarick, right up the middle, and picked up about 7 on first down.
2nd and 4. Sam Ho barrels forward for the first. He gets 5 yards, and the sticks move. Sam Ho, who did a nice job of spelling Barbarick when he was hurt, starting to see more and more action as this game wears on.
And I think this is what Walla Walla has to do at this point in the game. You got to go back to your game plan and your bread and butter, which is running the football.
And I think it doesn't matter what they do on offense. They've got to figure out a way to slow the Bombers' offensive attack, because Richland, really from the start of this game, even when it was a back-and-forth game, has been able to do whatever they wanted offensively. As Sam Ho doesn't get much there on first down, it'll be 2nd and long,
and
about a half yard.
Sometimes the best way to do that is just to keep the ball away from the Richland offense.
That is a good point. But they are down by 3 scores. Lesmeister rolling out, almost caught by Isaiah Moss on the far side of the field. That was put in the only place Moss could get it, and the defender could not. And Moss just couldn't quite reel it in.
Just a little too much on the throw from Mitch Lesmeister. 3rd and long.
Yeah, big 3rd and long here. Blue Devils at times have had a lot of success on 3rd down, but not lately. Hand it off to Sam Hobo. That's going to be tough to turn into something. And he was going sideways, and with the way this Richland defense can pursue, that usually won't work out, especially if the defense doesn't get fooled. Nice tackle there made by Braden Powell, one of the linebackers. And it'll be 4th and 11. Walla Walla will punt it away. And they'll have to punt it deep in their own end here. Rob, and a good opportunity for Gavin Brasker perhaps to return it. Low snap off one hop. And they're just able to get it away. Nice job by Briar Jensen. Brasker actually had to go back to get it, but now he will turn it upfield. Gets it back out to the 36 where he was originally standing to recover the football. That was an interesting turn of events as it took one bounce, thankfully a clean bounce to Jensen, And he booted the heck out of the ball. That's why he is one of the best punters in the eastern part of the state and the top one in the Mid-Columbia.
Yeah, he really did. And you got to give credit to Adam Weisenfels, who was downfield and threw a nice block that allowed his teammate to spring wide open on the right side and gives the Bombers good field position.
Weisenfels definitely deserves some sort of post-game award, hint, hint, SWX overtime, with the way he's been all over the field. Hand off to McCary. A lot of room up the middle. He's going to go! Parker McCary! On the first play from scrimmage goes the distance. 73-yard run. And the third touchdown on the night for number 21. And it's 42-14 Richland.
Take another look at this play. Nothing fancy about it. Great job of blocking by the offensive line. And then McCary, after finding the hole, it's off to the races. And he finds Paydirt.
He had a huge hole there from the offensive line. And correct me if I'm wrong, is that his third rushing touchdown or his fourth?
For McCary, that is his third.
Yeah, he is both McCary and Stanfield. If they get a little bit of a hole there, and they can get past that first line, they can really accelerate as the extra point is up and good to make it 43-14. Richland in front now by 29 points and very much in control as it's a 4-score game. Maybe McCary wants that SWX overtime shout out from Mr. Jesselson.
We're going to have to give out a game ball tonight. It's always tough to give that one out at the end of the show. We saw some great performances last night in part one of our SWX games of the week. Zaid Alghani for Southridge had a big game. And as a reminder, coming up tonight at 11, you can tune in to SWX Overtime. We'll have these highlights and all sorts of highlights from around the area. Join myself and Mark Mingura. We like to have fun with that show.
I think that's always the name of the game with that show is once you get all the tapes cut and all the scores put in, you can take a deep breath and enjoy yourself. Looks like we got an injured player. Is that Gavin Brasker? That's their big return man. So that's definitely a loss if there's an ankle sprain or something of that sort. Didn't see him walk off the field gingerly, wasn't looking closely when he returned it before that drive began. Well, it didn't take long for the Bombers to get some points here in the second half. 9:44 mark is when they get that 73-yard touchdown run from Parker McCary. Blue Devils at this point just trying to stop the bleeding. Romero fields it at the 20. Takes it out to the 34-yard line. Mitch Lesmeister, senior quarterback, got himself a tall order here with this team down by 29 points.
And this is one of those situations, Brian, you know, in the first quarter we saw Lesmeister have a lot of success running the football. I think maybe you just kind of call his number and see what he can do with the ball.
The only concern is the Bombers are going to start keying on him, and I think that's why the Blue Devils felt they had to use some other guys. Play action. Lesmeister gets popped, and he loses the football. Recovered by Richland. Kyle Kirby coming around the backside. Second time he's done that tonight. The ball is loose, and we've got an injured player on the ground. Walla Walla, did they recover? Looks like that's 76. St. John Montoya. He's a little bit slow to get up. And the officials are discussing who will have it. I think Walla Walla will be fortunate to recover the football. Beautifully timed corner blitz. Second time Kirby's done that. Last time he got a sack.
He just beats the tackle and just nails Lesmeister from the blind side.
That was a kidney shot.
And Montoya, thankfully in the right place at the right time, is able to jump on the football
Looked like a Bomber might have gotten close to it first. But Walla Walla able to recover at the last second. Inadvertent whistle. Wow. What a break there for the Blue Devils. An inadvertent whistle. And that entire play is negated. Handoff to Barbaric. I think the Bomber D wasn't very happy with that inadvertent whistle. Barbaric losing a bunch of yards, about 10 yards. And then some pushing and shoving. No flags going. Both teams fortunate not to get whistled for the unsportsmanlike. They actually marked Barbaric down at the 25, so a loss of 6.
Yeah, Kirby was not happy with that inadvertent whistle. Once again, for the second consecutive play, finds himself making big tackles in the backfield.
And a whistle and a flag before this play can get going on 2nd and 17 from the 25. That'll back them up 5 yards. And it'll be 2nd and even longer. 2nd and 22. As well as this Blue Devil offensive attack looked in the first quarter, it's gotten worse as the game has progressed, and this Bomber D has tightened its grip. Quick pass in the slot to Davis, the tight end, and he gets hit immediately. No opportunity to run that upfield as Josh Mendoza and Adam Weisenfeld's there.
Yeah, we've talked about him a few times so far tonight, just how good this Bomber secondary is. They just run to the football, do a great job of tackling, especially in the open field. They really don't give offenses much to work with at all. And it looks like we got another flag thrown on that last play.
It was on the far side of the field, a little hard to see.
And it looks...
Having trouble with the microphone. Yeah, that would make sense that they decline the penalty and have a loss of down. Third down and long. Barbaric hitting the backfield, in trouble. And he's not going to get close as he is brought down the line of scrimmage. And the Blue Devils will just have to live to fight another offensive series. And at this point, with it 43-14, you see the frustration there from Barbaric. Just having a hard time getting loose at all. Is this Bomber, I mean, and credit the Bomber defensive line with the way they have owned the trenches tonight. And Barbaric just frustrated, clearly. Jensen gets the punt off. Boy, another moonshot. Brasker has trouble handling it again as he had to back up 10 yards just to field it. Able to turn it upfield and get some positive yards. It's been a little bit of an adventure back there for number 5 in the green and gold tonight. And that's in part to the rocket launcher of a leg that Jensen has. That was a monster punt.
Yes, it was, but another nice job there by Brasker to make something out of nothing. Has the ball go right through the wickets, picks it up, and picks up a nice return, gets to about the 43-yard line.
Yeah, it was a positive return. Give him credit there for sticking with the play. Stanfield in the backfield with Stevens, and he will get the football. A lot of room up the middle. I mean, that's just not a good sign if, on defense, the running back isn't getting hit till 6-7 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that offense.
And it's been pretty consistent.
That offensive line has been having themselves a fantastic game in the green and gold.
Yeah, you've got Dante Powell there, 6'6", 310. I believe offered at Washington State University. Brigham Whitby, another fantastic lineman. Senior leader at 6 feet, 275, along with Colton Michaels, Noah Sprinkle, and Eric Davison. They have done a fantastic job tonight. Quick pass to Chapman. Can he make a guy miss? Yes, he can! That's what he does better than anybody, with the exception of maybe Adam Weissenfels tonight. He is down at the 16-yard line.
But it looks like there is another flag, this time thrown on the far side of the field. And once again, a big play by Alex Chapman is going to be negated by a penalty.
Yeah, they had a 40-yard touchdown bomb that was negated by an ineligible receiver. This was a 29-yard reception. And another ineligible receiver downfield negates the Chapman reception. 5-yard penalty, and it'll be 1st and 15 from midfield for Richland.
This time the penalty going against Dante Powell.
Four receivers. Stevens, great protection. And he unloads. A little bit of a duck for Mendoza there, as I think it came out of his hands a little bit. Just used to seeing his tight spiral. That was a long throw, though, as he had to throw it not just downfield, but to the near side. So that was about a 45-yard throw in the air. And a little bit out of bounds. Mendoza couldn't handle it. 6:47 to go here in the third quarter. It'll be 2nd and 15 as the Bombers fail on that shot downfield, but they like to take their shots. And it definitely puts pressure on this Walla Walla defense, which has already felt a lot of pressure with the running game up the middle. Hand off to Stanfield. Breaks a tackle. He gets close to the first down. What a beautiful run by Stanfield. It looked like he might get 4 yards, if that, and he just ripped through the arms of a defender from Walla Walla.
You know, I've been really impressed with these two Richland running backs. Quietly, both of them are having fantastic seasons. We see Stanfield with a tough run there. Parker McCary with a 73-yard touchdown run the last time out. Both of them having monster games tonight.
Edwin Romero had him in the grass, but he says, I'm not being tackled by a defensive back. No way. Stanfield might not be tackled by anyone here. Gashes the Blue Devils for another big run. 17 yards. And the sticks move. Quickly overcome the ineligible receiver penalty, which negated the 30-yard reception from Alex Chapman, thanks to a couple of big runs from Ben Stanfield. It's kind of nice when your offense has not one but two horses in your stable to go to in the backfield. They have Stanfield and McCary, who have been fantastic tonight, both of them. Midway through the third, 1st and 10 from the 20. Stevens over the middle, Chapman, and has it knocked away at the last second. Good defensive play by the corner. Looks like that was, well, that's a tough number to get a hold of. I can't see it. Looks like it's number 2, but I don't have a number 2 on my roster. And Chapman's had some great opportunities here, made some nice catches, just hasn't shown up in the box score just yet. 2nd and 10. Stanfield gets stood up at the line of scrimmage.
You know, and you mentioned how nice it is for Richland to have those two great running backs in the backfield. If you take a look at some of the other teams in the MCC, nobody else really has that option like these Bombers do. You take a look at Chiawana, and majority of their carries go to Andrew Vargas. Southridge has Zaid Alghani, and there really aren't that many other teams in the conference that have the pleasure of handing the ball off to do great running backs.
Part of that is just the commitment the Bombers have made to this approach. They've had a lot of success with the running back by committee. 3rd and long. Quick pass over the middle. Incomplete, intended for Cody Yarma. And that'll bring up 4th and 9 now. So we'll see what the Bombers decide to do here with the ball at the 19-yard line. Adam Weissenfels is coming out. Got to think here. I saw him come out, but I'm also seeing Paxton Stevens coming back out. I was going to say, usually they go for a 4th down when they have it deep in their opponent's end of the field. And they will do it here, staying true to form. 4 on the play clock. Just get the snap off. Stevens just gets it away. The pass is knocked away at the last minute. Intended for Alex Chapman. There is a flag on the play, a hold. We're going to step aside here at the 4th. Okay, so that is 4th down. The penalty declined, obviously, so it will be Walla Walla football when we come back at the 20. You're watching high school football on SWX. It's Richland. Up comfortably here at Fran Rish. 5:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. Walla Walla has it from their own 20 after stopping the Bombers on 4th down. Quick pass to Carter Davis goes off the numbers, falls incomplete. And Davis has been frustrated along with several other Blue Devils on offense as they've just struggled to get going. Some of their key cogs like Barbarick and Davis have been very quiet tonight, and it's been Mitch Lesmeister, Robber, pretty much nothing else.
Yeah, it's been just one of those nights for the Walla Walla offense. Since the midway point of the 1st quarter, they really haven't gotten much going.
Handoff. They fake the handoff. Lesmeister rolls to the near side. Pass is caught, but not much doing thereafter as Isaiah Moss is hammered. Boy, this Richland team is getting physical tonight as they have add a little exclamation point to these tackles they're making. And conversely, the Blue Devils have really struggled with their tackling. That might be an area to work on this week here. In their defense, I mean, they are going up against one of the best teams in the state, the number 2 ranked Bombers, and it's a tall order for anybody. Lesmeister will keep it himself here on the read option and get a few yards on 1st down.
And I think we're going to see more of that as this game plays on. Lesmeister, of course, one of the top athletes in the MCC.
Pretty darn good basketball player, too. Had a nice year last year.
Baseball as well.
Yeah, he's a 3-sport star. Was about to mention that, too. We're just on the same wavelength. 2nd down and 7 from the 35. Lesmeister will throw again, and it's intercepted by Adam Weissenfels. Got a chance to go, and he takes it all the way in for the pick 6. 2nd interception of the game for the Bombers. Makes it 49-14. And Weissenfels has been scoring every which way. Got a couple of receiving touchdowns. He's been booting the extra points. And now he's got the pick 6.
Unbelievable play here by Weissenfels. Just reads the eyes of Mitch Lesmeister. Breaks on the play and takes it to the house. Touchdown number 3 for number 7 tonight.
He has established himself as one of the key cogs in this Bombers offense as a junior. And turning himself into Griffey March 2.0. For those of you who remember the Bombers from last year, he is the exact same type of player and just making his presence felt all over the place, including on special teams with that extra point to make it 50-14. Another great job there of just jumping the route as Lesmeister didn't really try to look anybody off and telegraphed it. Intended for Bryant Romero, and Romero had no chance to catch number 7.
And that is interception number 4 on the season for Weissenfels. And we're going to have a good one next week, Brian.
Get Richland. Your popcorn ready, as they like to say.
Yeah, Richland, the Bombers take the show on the road. They'll go to Pasco at Edgar Brown Stadium for what is going to be a fantastic showdown against the Chiawana Riverhawks.
Another epic battle on Friday night right here on SWX.
A great MCC rivalry.
It is, and it's for first place.
Two of the top teams in the state.
The 4A teams in the Mid-Columbia Conference and, overall bragging rights in the MCC, although the 4A and 3A schools were separated. And those are two teams right there that have what it takes to go all the way to Tacoma. But they might just run into each other beforehand.
They absolutely do. Both of them have the potential to, like you said, go all the way. It's going to be a great battle between these two fantastic Mid-Columbia Conference teams.
Bombers have reeled off 43 unanswered after trailing 14-7. As the kickoff there goes out of bounds at the 25. Did it go out of bounds? So there's a flag on the play there. They'll take over at the 35. Blue Devils at this point want to just work on some things and get something positive to take with them going into next week's practices. And boy, they can't really get too down on themselves about what has transpired here since the first quarter, because next week, who are they playing? Kamaikan Braves.
One of the other great teams of the MCC. We saw them take the Bombers down to the wire a week ago.
There are no hall passes in the MCC this season. A lot of great football teams. Even the teams that aren't necessarily winning, they do certain things really well, and they can get dangerous in a hurry if you aren't paying attention and prepared. There's the pitch. Try to get Barberg out in space. Can he turn it upfield? And no, he cannot. This front seven for the Bombers, they are in phenomenal shape. These are big kids, 6'1", 6'2", 200 pounds on the light side. Some of them 220, some of them 250, 260, and they go side to side as well as anybody.
Well, and we see Adam Weisenfels make a nice play on that Walla Walla run, forcing the Barberg to go back inside.
Botched snap there, and Lesmeister has no choice but to fall on it. So what was 2nd and 13 turns into 3rd and 15. And it's just gone south in a hurry here.
Yeah, he just took his eyes off the snap at the last second there. Got to secure the football first, then hand it off or make a play or do whatever you got to do with it.
Yeah, just a little bit of anxiousness and I think frustration. Sam Ho. Actually, that's boy, I keep getting deked on those,
those
read options by Lesmeister. I mean, lucky for the Bombers, I'm not on their defense. Not that I'd ever sniff the football team if I wanted to, but Lesmeister would have a field day with the likes of me. But unfortunately, it's going to be 4th down, as it wasn't close to the first there on the short run. And they will have to boot it away. If there's one thing they can take away from the game here in the second half, it's the kicking game. But usually that's not the only thing you want to take away. Wow, that is just an insanely good punt. Brasker had to go all the way back to the 10. And he's not going to get much further than that as he is wrapped up at the 15. Almost lost the football there for a second. Kind of juggled it, but able to hang on. I think he has to just dial it back about 10 more yards there if he's going to field these punts, because he ends up having to go back that far and chase the rolling football. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, Briar Jensen just having a field day with these punts. The last 3 or 4 have just been absolute booming shots.
That was from the 29, so that's 21 to the 50, and they're going to take over at the 16. So that was a 55-yard punt.
Unbelievable.
Pretty much in the air. That's impressive. In a close game, a guy like Jensen will win you a football game with his ability to control the field. Tonight, the Bombers just a little bit too much. They'll run it off tackle there. Stanfield try and milk the clock a little bit as we dip down towards 2 minutes. Both running backs here for the Bombers. We don't have the stats on us officially, but they both have to be over 100 yards. If you have a chance in a minute here to go to a graphic of Nighthole, that'd be awesome. Parker Stevens has done a great job conducting the orchestra, so to speak, on offense. Stanfield again to the near side. Go out of bounds. Looks like he's close to the first, but not quite there on 2nd and 7. So it'll be a 3rd and short. Now Parker Stevens, his story is pretty cool. Broke his back trying to dunk a basketball before the start of spring practice as a sophomore going into his junior year. Missed the entire summer program. Only had about 14 practices before his first start as a junior against Gonzaga Prep, team that ended up winning the state tournament last year in 4A. Pass over the middle to Weisenfels. Serves me right for telling a story. Number 7 says, I'm the story. And he's going to go all the way. 77-yard pass. Stevens to Weisenfels. And it's 56-14. Boy, Weisenfels. That is his 4th touchdown of the game. 3 receiving, and then 1 pick six.
Just unbelievable. What an athlete Adam Weisenfels is. The speed on him, the toughness. He's so tough to bring down. He handles the kicking for the team as well. Just an unbelievable player. His 4th touchdown of the night, the 4th touchdown pass by Paxton Stevens as well.
And that is Adam Weisenfels' 7th extra point. So he has a touchdown total of extra points and then some.
Just unbelievable. Once he gets out in open space and you get into a foot race with him, chances are you're not going to win.
Question is now, what did Zach Borish do tonight? Because Paxton Stevens came into the evening with 16 touchdown passes, and now he's got 20. Still in the 3rd quarter, and I was telling you a little bit about Stevens' story, how he had basically had 14 practices under his belt before getting his first start as a high school football quarterback against the eventual state champion Gonzaga Prep Bullpups last year. A game they nearly won at Gonzaga Prep. They lost 13-10. Met again in the playoffs in the semifinals of the 4A state tournament. Cold weather game at Edgar Brown. Kind of hurt the passing game for the Bombers, and there was some guy named Evan Weaver, who's now at Cal, who was like a polar bear out there just eating players alive. I hurt for the Bombers watching him tackle people.
Not a grizzly, but a polar bear.
Oh, yeah. He went way past grizzly and straight to polar bear. But Stevens has had an enormous amount of seasoning from last year and just came in this year, knows the offense cold, and came with some huge plays against Kamiakin last week when they needed it. And it wasn't always with his arm either, Rob, running the football. And he is a deceptively fast quarterback. He's very tall, not a scrambler type, but give him a little bit of space, and he'll take off on you pretty quick.
Yeah, he's just a fantastic athlete, and I think we would see him run more if it wasn't for him having all these great offensive weapons around him.
Not much doing there on the kickoff return for the Blue Devils. Coming up on 1 minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
And we see Mitch Lesmeister return to the field once again.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, they really have not been able to get back into a good offensive rhythm since midway through the 1st quarter.
Bombers have made them one-dimensional. It's Lesmeister or bust pretty much. Handed off to Sam Ho. Got hit in the backfield, almost wrapped up there, but able to escape and get a few positive yards. Good penetration, though, from the Bombers' Eric Davison. They just have had a lot of success. I mean, all the backs, including Lesmeister, the quarterback, have been seeing those green and gold shirts in the backfield and have had to start making people miss a lot sooner than they'd like. Conversely, as we have a flag on the field there, that'll help this run play. Get 10 yards, or 15 yards. Looks like there must have been a face mask or some sort of unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, Brian, you asked about Zach Borsch. I'm not sure how he's done tonight, but I can tell you that the Braves lead Kennewick 44-14 in the second half over at Lamson.
Good chance he might have a couple more touchdown passes. He came into tonight leading the MCC with 18. End of the third quarter here. It'll be Walla Walla football when we return from their own 46. But it's been all Richland. The Bombers have put on the hurt here. You're watching high school football on SWX. Well, while we were away for commercial, I want you to know that my partner and I, Rob Jesselson, were hard at work crunching some numbers, which we'll share with you after this play here. Blue Devils have it. 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. Les Meister will roll, and he's feeling some heat there. Gunning way down the field, has a man open. And that's a 50-50 ball. Who got it? They're going to say incomplete. He was looking for Mason Knowles, but getting up there to break it up was Ryan Kriskovich. Looked like he almost had a chance to catch it too, and if it's a tie, it always goes to the receiver.
Yeah, let's take another look at this play. Walla Walla taking the deep shot downfield. Lesmeister with a nice toss. And it just looked like both of them had position on the football.
And they kind of trapped it against the grass. They caught it against each other. So 2nd down and 10, but Lesmeister showing off the arm there. Handoff and nothing doing for the running back, Edwin Romero.
And give credit to this Bomber front seven. You can see right there, they are really feeling it tonight. They have really done a great job of shutting down that Walla Walla running game.
3rd and 10. Play action. Lesmeister just gets rid of it. Looking for Knowles again, and it's knocked away, incomplete. Boy, Lesmeister just got that off as the heat was coming from his backside. I believe he got hit. And Knowles was open, too, if he had just a little more juice on it.
You know what? And credit to Ryan Kriskovich. Coming in with his team up big in the 4th quarter and makes 2 big plays defensively.
I think they knew a sophomore was D'ing up Knowles, and they were going after him. I think they were going after him, and the 5'7", 150-pound Ryan Kriskovich weighs in with a pretty heady performance as defensive back. Another punt fielded on the hop by Brasker. Skips through a tackle, takes it across the 20. 57-14 Richland. Story tonight has been Adam Weissenfels, the junior wide receiver and defensive back. 3 receiving touchdowns for number 7. He also has a pick 6 and 7 extra points. We were doing the math, Rob. I was going to say this earlier during the Walla Walla offensive series, but he came into tonight with 34 overall points, including touchdowns and extra points on the season. Put him among the league leaders for the Mid-Columbia Conference, and tonight alone he's got 31 points, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'd say so. 34 coming in, 31 tonight. And he did it pretty much in 3 quarters of football.
Victor Strasser in at running back. And a new quarterback as well for the Bombers as Kay Jensen steps in, junior QB. Stands at 6 feet, 170 pounds. He will run the offense here for the remainder of the quarter. And this is another way that these good teams like Richland get better, is when they're able to jump out to a big lead like this against a quality opponent, Walla Walla, a team that has some depth to it as well, I might add. They can get a lot of their second stringers and third stringers, a full-on quarter of experience, and that really helps going into the spring practice, summer program, and into next season. Over the middle, pass is caught by Kriskovich, who made a couple of big defensive plays, now turns around on offense and comes through with a big catch over the middle for the first down, and Kay Jensen showing off the arm a little bit.
Yeah. How about Kriskovich? Makes a couple plays on defense, turns around, and has a nice play there offensively. Just another weapon to add to the...
Another arrow in the arsenal.
That's what I was looking for.
Not much doing here on first down as the run was well read by the Blue Devils. Tyler Fish back in at running back and tackled right away by Jamal Mangarero. Mangarero is a sophomore defensive lineman who's seen a lot of time tonight. We've called his name a few times. He was the one who had the fumble lateral to him in the first quarter, the first offensive play, as Alex Chapman was stripped, and he took it all the way down to the 1 yard line. The Blue Devils later punched it in for a 7-0 early lead. Jensen rolling and hitting a receiver on the far side. I believe that was Gavin Brasker. And Jensen here looks like a surgeon. I'd have to call him K. Jensen, MD, with the way he's picking apart this Walla Walla secondary here. A couple of nice, strong throws.
Well, you talk about depth, and we are seeing it right now for the Richland Bombers. It seems like everybody that they put in there is just able to pick right up where the last guy left off.
Fishback now gets some room to run, and good strong run up the middle. Is that at the first down marker? It's very close. It's going to be second and short, a little less than a yard for the Bombers. And this second unit here looking good as we come upon 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Pass is caught by the receiver and taken down to the 20-yard line. That was pretty funny as it was caught by Dylan Ekstrom. But the receiver in the slot there thought it was coming to him, but it was going to Ekstrom. He almost jumped the pass and intercepted the ball from his own teammate.
Looked like the ball went right through the hands of Nathan Schreckenkost.
And right into Ekstrom's hands. And Schreckenkost actually came back for it, thinking that he ran his route wrong, I don't know, but it was really intended for Ekstrom because he hit him right on the run.
Either way, it worked out in the Richland Bombers' favor.
Doesn't matter who's in there. Their offense is just humming along. Another first down. Handoff to Fishback. A lot of room to run. Takes it inside the 10. Marked down at the 9. It'll be first and goal, Bombers. They are just a machine right now and looking really good going into the Chiawana game. And I think that's what we have to discuss here. I mean, I think going into this game, there's two things that Coach Neidhold and his staff probably wanted to see. Was he wanted his team to be focused for this game. High snap here and the handoff again to Fishback. Will he go? And he will dive over the defender and into the end zone for the score. Bombers with 63. They put on the Blue Devils tonight. Their highest point total of the season. And everybody getting into the scoring act. Look at that.
Superman's over the goal line there for Fishback.
I think he wanted his, perhaps his first touchdown there. Who knows? Junior running back, 5'8", 150 pounds, showing a lot of heart. And sometimes that happens. You get the second unit in there. They got fresh legs. And they're fired up to get some good quality time for a quarter, and it can almost be harder for the defense. Weissenfeld's in for another point. Give him 32 total points on the evening after the rushing touchdown by Fishback. Flag on the extra point. We'll see what the deal is. So an unsportsmanlike on the extra point attempt. So the extra point will stand. It's 64-14. And a very sizable 50-point lead for the Richland Bombers. Halfway through this fourth quarter of play. A little more than that. Watching high school football on SWX. Well, it has been all Richland since midway through the first quarter. The Bombers have just put a hurting on the Blue Devils here. 64-14, a 50-point lead. Bombers have pretty much owned this rivalry since 2010. Assuming they win tonight, going out on a limb here. They'll have won 6 of the last 7 meetings and improved to 7-2 and 1 under Coach Neidhold against the Blue Devils. There is the kickoff, which will sail into the end zone for the touchback.
And I got a couple of updated scores from around the area. Brian, at the end of the third quarter, it was Chiawana leading the Pasco Bulldogs 41-0. Late in the third, 51-14, Kamiakin leading Kennewick over at Lamson Stadium. In the 1A ranks, maybe the matchup of the night, the number 1 team, the Royal Knights, going up against Connell, ranked number 2. It was Royal late in that one, leading the Eagles 28-21. Over in Yakima, Eisenhower beat Eastmont 38-7. Big win for Ike.
Cadets have looked good this year. They've really come back quite a ways after a tough year last year.
They have. And then we can't forget about the Tri-City Americans. 4-2 winners over Kamloops. They win their 3rd straight game.
They're looking pretty good. Not a great talent on that team. Always put out a pretty competitive squad, and
they do
have a nice, loyal fan base here. Botched exchange there between the running back and quarterback as Lesmeister can't fall on it in time, and the Bombers recover. Cody Clements falls on it. One of the backup defensive linemen, and he's pretty excited to get the fumble recovery.
Yeah, check out the celebration on the far side of the field. Everybody giving Mr. Clemens some love.
Yeah, this Richland team is just doing really well tonight. I mean, I'm going to tell you some things historically about this game and the score versus in the past. But if you want to see this again on Sunday, certainly some folks in that student section might. It'll be on at 6 a.m., so set your alarm, make some cereal, some chocolate chip pancakes, or DVR it. Or if you're on the Blue Devil football team, you might just want to sleep through it. Second unit here for the Bombers is another opportunity here to put some points on the board. Got a new running back in, and Jared Whitby ain't going to have much success there. Boy, there have been quite a few Whitbys to come through this Richland program. There was Zach Whitby, Hayden Whitby, we've got Brigham Whitby, and now here we have Jared Whitby as one of the backup running backs. That's 4 Whitbys that have played football. I guess that's the secret, is to find a couple families with 4 or 5 sons and just recruit them all. And that's how you build a winning tradition, like they have here at Richland.
You got it.
Well, 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, 64-14, and I've been looking through the Richland Bombers website. These two teams have played each other 77 times since 1945, and this is far and away the most points Richland has ever scored against Walla Walla. 45 points was the previous high back in 2000. And I'm going to venture a guess this might be the most lopsided margin of victory. It would have to be, because and check this out. Just heard this from our producer, Matt Funk, saying that number 19 is Brandon Jarvis, who also helps out on our SWX production crew.
We've got some athletes.
Got a handoff and a pitch here to Whitby, and he got the first down. So the sticks will move. It'll be 1st and goal. That would be a first ever if we could have an SWX crew member scoring on a particular play. Think about that. Brandon Jarvis is literally just a few yards away from history. This might be one of the coolest late-game touchdowns ever, excepting there's 37 seconds left, and I'm sure Coach Neithold is going to do anything but try and throw the football here to a receiver, and that's what Jarvis is listed at. There's 27 seconds left. They will have one more play they'll have to run here. They'll just take a knee as the play clock will run down to nothing. They'll just take the delay of game and just take a knee here and end it. So Jarvis gets into the game, but he will not get an opportunity to become the first SWX crew member to score a point. He still, though, could one day become the subject of our Legends of the Game. I think.
Absolutely right.
Brandon Jarvis, he's a senior defensive back and getting into a game, and that's pretty cool, especially when you play for a team this talented, to see the field at all. And the Richland Bombers, they dominate after struggling in the early going, 64-14. Their most lopsided victory ever over their 4A rivals in the Mid-Columbia, Walla Walla. 64-14, the final. The Bombers improved to 7-0, 5-0 in conference. And the big matchup next Friday night on SWX against Chihuahua Riverhawks. That'll be a great one. Rob Jesselson on the call. I'll be there too. Meanwhile, the Walla Walla Blue Devils dropped to 3-4, 2-3 in the conference. Another tough test next week against the Kamaikan Braves. It's been a pleasure tonight from Fran Rish Stadium for our entire production crew. My name is Brian Levitan, and for Rob Jesselson, have a good night. We'll see you next Friday at Edgar Brown.